What's up, guys? We're here today with Peaches, who actually just shed out for us. Now don't be mad, because you already know we don't do anything fake on this channel. I didn't clean out the poop in here that she left with this lovely whole shed. But that is beautiful, and we get these perfect every time from old Peaches here. I know you guys are probably gonna come at me for the hook with the corn snake, but it's all about respecting the animal, and these animals have a process in which they're used to being handled with me. And that process starts out by just me kind of letting them know that I'm there with the hook. And woo, there we go. She did not try to bite me just then, by the way. Corn snakes are just naturally kind of darty. And she just kind of happened to dart towards my face, but I was in no danger at all there. And even if she did get me, it wouldn't hurt. It's a corn snake. But she's absolutely beautiful. I just wanted to show you guys what she looks like fresh out of shed. But today, we're going to be talking about my opinion on the top 5 reptile YouTubers. Let's get into it. So first up on our list, we got Barczyk. Brian, to me, has been for the longest time probably the face of reptile hobbyist. He is the most well-known figure, I would say, in the reptile hobby. But he is a really good person for that. He's very knowledgeable overall. He knows what he's doing. He's been in this game for a very, very long time. Brian seems to genuinely care about his animals, and I really admire that about him, because not everybody seems to be that way that keeps reptiles. They might think, oh, this is like a toy. This is something like that, you know, not to be taken seriously. But Brian legitimately takes these things seriously. He has his own zoo that's doing very well. He started off breeding, of course. He still breeds. He breeds amazing animals every year. Hundreds of them, maybe even thousands. I couldn't keep up with that much. There's no way. Another thing that I like about him is that he is always developing his enclosures. What he has in them, the foliage, the hides, the substrate. He is on top of all aspects of keeping his animals safe, and he has their best interest in mind. I truly believe he is definitely one of, if not the best keepers that there is alive today. Next up, we got N.E.R.D, or New England Reptile Distributors, and more specifically, Kevin McCurley, because he is above pretty much everything that goes on at N.E.R.D. I think that Kevin is definitely very, very smart. He knows what he's doing. He is, to me, one of the very best at taming down animals that just don't want to be tamed down. The work that he does with Asian water monitors is incredible. He can do the same thing with Cuvier's dwarf caiman. I really admire the work that he does with those kind of animals, because it's just not something you see every day. Kevin is really, really working with a lot of different variety. He even works with venomous snakes, and he really, really respects the venomous aspect of it. He isn't one of those guys that just gets on camera, free handles king cobras. And I believe that he is capable of doing these things, but I think that he respects the balance between animal and keeper more than some other folks that are going to be on this list. Kevin always uses a hook with those kind of animals for the most part. He never just picks venomous animals up like this on camera just to handle them, just because it looks cool. And I really appreciate that, because that's not something that I really want out there, because somebody like Kevin can make handling a venomous snake look very, very easy. And that could potentially encourage other people who are not as well trained as Kevin to do maybe something like that. And Kevin also seems to go more in depth with medical type videos, what to do if this specific thing goes wrong with your animal. And I tend to kind of like those kind of videos. They're very helpful. And there's definitely a lot that you can learn from Kevin McCurley. And if you don't know what that channel is, I really recommend you check it out, especially if you're a reptile keeper. There's tons of things that can be learned from N.E.R.D. Ah yes, snake discovery. Snake discovery is a very, very interesting channel to me. It's a very, very kid-friendly channel, I feel like. They definitely pay a lot of very close attention to their fans, I would say, more so than bigger channels like Barczyk or N.E.R.D, for example. Snake Discovery recently just opened up their first zoo, which I'm pretty excited about. They take excellent care of all of their animals from what I can see, and they are definitely high exposure as far as how many people watch their channel. So I definitely think they're legit. I think they're very good handlers. I think they're very, very knowledgeable as well. One thing that I like that they do on that channel is they explain how you can make your own hides, you know, cheap places to find hides, water bowls, that kind of thing. And it's really important to be saving money with reptiles. And by that, I don't mean skimping on the enclosure or the animal's needs by any means, but if there's a shortcut that you can make, they have discussed it on that channel as far as ways that you can home make hides or things like that. And it's very useful information. Next up, we got Clint's Reptiles. And Clint's Reptiles is a channel to me that is probably of the most educational value as far as reptile YouTubers go. He does a lot of videos about, is this the right pet for you? And he does a very, very good job of making people at least double think what they're considering buying as a pet. And he is not afraid to make you ask yourself the serious questions like you should be when you're looking for a pet. He doesn't only work with constrictors and colubrids and stuff like that. He also has a variety of different animals on there. He has monitor lizards, he has several venomous snakes on there. I believe there was an octopus on there one time. He does birds, fish, pretty much anything you can imagine, but it is, like I said, called Clint's Reptiles. So it is probably 90% reptiles on that channel, and it is very informative. So if you haven't looked into it, you should definitely look into it. Clint's very, very smart. I've never met any of the people on this list, but Clint would definitely be someone I would like to pick his brain for sure. So lastly on today's list, we have Tyler Nolan. Don't get me wrong, I respect Tyler Nolan a whole lot. I just don't really care for what he does publicly on YouTube. He free handles a lot of venomous snakes that could kill you very easily in just a few minutes. Someone, because of how good Tyler is with these venomous snakes, might get the idea that since he makes it look easy, that it is actually easy, and they could underestimate what a venomous snake can do, since he kind of has some that are puppy dog tame. But if you don't know, he is missing part of his finger as a result of a bite from a cobra. So he's definitely paid a high price for what he does, and I just don't want that to scar the reptile hobby in any kind of bad way. And I really don't think it does all that much, but I really don't think it's helping anything either. I think that when the lawmakers are looking at banning reptiles, they're looking at these really high influential people. And Tyler Nolan is definitely one of these people, and he is definitely free handling king cobras, and he has spitting cobras and several other things like that. He has a bunch of big rattlesnakes that are super impressive, and he is very, very good at taking care of them, don't get me wrong. I just don't know that if free handling them on YouTube is the thing to be doing, personally. I also don't think all his content is all that relatable to a lot of everyday reptile keepers, because most reptile keepers, if we're being honest, don't have cobras and rattlesnakes and things like that. But he also does have a few monitors, and he's also very good with them. He does a lot of collabs with a lot of other really big time people down there in Florida. He's definitely influential, and I definitely appreciate the fact that he is so good with the animals. I just kind of wish it wasn't so far out there sometimes. But I just want to thank you guys for watching today's video. It means a lot to me if you would go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Leave a like and a comment. If you have any video ideas, just feel free to leave them down there in the comments. I'm Hunter. This is Lazarus. And y'all have a good night.